Have you ever wondered why men behave the way they do? It's a question that has crossed most of our minds at some point. Well, today we're diving headfirst into the deep end, exploring the psychological aspects that shape a man's behavior, from the role of testosterone to the impact of social conditioning, and from the imprints of childhood to the intricate maze of their emotional landscape. So buckle up and stay tuned if you want to unravel the mystery of the male psyche. First, we need to understand how hormones influence men's behavior. Hormones play a crucial role in shaping our personalities, actions, and reactions. Testosterone, a hormone that is found in higher levels in men, is a key player in this regard. Testosterone is often associated with aggression. Now, it's important to remember that aggression doesn't necessarily mean violence. It can manifest in various ways, like assertiveness or the need to assert dominance. It can fuel competitiveness, the drive to be the alpha, the best, the winner. This competitiveness can be seen in all aspects of life, from sports to business, and even in social situations. Testosterone also drives risk-taking behavior. It's what can make men more likely to take that leap of faith, to push boundaries, to venture into the unknown. This is not always a negative thing. Many of the world's greatest achievements are the result of someone taking a risk. Now let's touch on how testosterone affects men's emotional expression. It's a common misconception that men are less emotional than women. In reality, they just express their emotions differently. Testosterone can make men less likely to show vulnerability, to openly express fear or sadness. This doesn't mean they don't feel these emotions. It just means they might express them in different ways, or keep them more internalized. But we must remember, testosterone is not the sole dictator of a man's behavior. It's just one piece of the puzzle. Men, like women, are influenced by a myriad of factors: genetic, environmental, social, and personal. They are not just a product of their hormones, but of their experiences, their upbringing, their values, and their beliefs. So, testosterone is just one factor that shapes men's behavior, but there's more to it. In the next segment, we'll delve deeper into the societal aspects that influence men's behavior. Stay tuned as we continue to unravel the complex tapestry of masculinity. Do men naturally want to be the alpha, or is it society's expectation? Let's dive into this. You see, from a very young age, boys are fed a steady diet of stereotypes and societal expectations. They're told to be strong, to be brave, to never cry, to always man up. They're taught that to be a real man, they must be the protector, the provider, the leader, the alpha. But let's pause and reflect on this for a moment. Is this really what men want? Or is it a role they've been conditioned to play? Society has a way of painting a picture of what it means to be a man, and it's often a picture that's rigid and unyielding. Men are expected to be tough, to suppress their emotions, to always have everything under control. They're told that vulnerability is a sign of weakness, that showing emotions is unmanly. But this is a harmful narrative, one that fuels toxic masculinity and leaves no room for men to express their feelings, to admit when they're scared or hurting or unsure. It's a narrative that doesn't reflect the complex, multifaceted nature of being human. The truth is, men, like women, are emotional beings. They feel joy, sadness, fear, anger, love, just as intensely as anyone else. They too need a safe space to express these feelings, to be vulnerable, to be human. The alpha persona, the tough exterior, is often just a facade, a mask that men wear to meet societal expectations. It's a defense mechanism, a way to navigate a world that often leaves them little room to be anything else. But beneath this mask, there's a whole range of emotions, thoughts, dreams, and fears. It's important to remember this, to understand that men, just like women, are not one-dimensional characters, but complex individuals with their own unique experiences and perspectives. It's clear that societal pressures play a big role. But what about the influence of early childhood experiences? Can childhood experiences shape a man's behavior? It's a question that psychologists and sociologists have studied extensively, and the answer is a resounding yes. From the time a child takes his first steps, the world around him starts to leave its imprint. And these early experiences, particularly the relationship with parents, have a profound influence on a man's emotional health and behavior. Consider the father-son relationship. It's a potent force that shapes a man's perception of masculinity. A boy looks up to his father as a role model. He learns what it means to be a man from him. If that relationship is filled with respect, love, and understanding, the boy grows up to be a man who values these traits. He learns to be a man who's empathetic, who respects women, who understands that strength isn't just about physical power, but also about emotional resilience. But what happens when that relationship is fraught with tension, neglect, or even abuse? The effects can be damaging. The boy may grow up with a distorted view of masculinity. He may believe that to be a man, he needs to be aggressive, dominant, unemotional, and these beliefs can bleed into his relationships, affecting how he interacts with women. And it's not just about the father. The mother-son relationship is equally crucial. A mother teaches her son about nurturing, about empathy. She shows him that it's okay for a man to be vulnerable, to express emotions. And if a boy grows up without this guidance, he may struggle to connect emotionally with others. So childhood experiences, especially those with parents, play a critical role in shaping a man's behavior. They form the blueprint for how he navigates the world, how he perceives himself, and how he relates to women. Childhood experiences can indeed leave a lasting impact. But how do men cope with stress and emotions? Stick around as we delve into that in the next segment. Are men really less emotional than women, or do they just express it differently? This is a question that has sparked countless debates and researches. But the truth is, men are not emotionally deficient or shallow. They merely express their feelings in ways that might be different from what we are accustomed to. While societal conditioning often encourages women to openly discuss their feelings, men are frequently taught to suppress their emotions, leading to a misconception that they are less emotional. This societal pressure can make men feel like they have to put on a brave face, even when they're hurting inside. This doesn't mean that men don't feel. In fact, they feel deeply. But instead of verbalizing their emotions, they often channel their feelings into action. For instance, when feeling stressed, a man might go for a run, play a game, or immerse himself in a task. These are all coping mechanisms, ways to manage and express emotions. This divergence in emotional expression can sometimes lead to misunderstandings. You might think he's not bothered because he's not talking about it, but in reality, he's dealing with it in his own way. It's not that he's emotionally unavailable, he just handles emotions differently. Understanding this can help us empathize with men better. It's crucial to remember that everyone has a unique emotional landscape, and it's shaped by a multitude of factors, from upbringing to societal expectations. We need to respect these differences and be patient. Also, remember that it's okay for men to show vulnerability. If a man in your life is going through something tough, let him know it's okay to feel, to be human. Encourage him to express his feelings in a way that feels comfortable for him. By understanding the emotional landscape of men, we can foster deeper, more meaningful relationships. We can provide the support they need when they need it, and in doing so, we can help break down the harmful stereotypes that surround men and emotions. Understanding men's emotional landscape can help us empathize better, but what about communication? Let's dive into that next. Ever wondered why men are often less talkative in emotional discussions? It's a question that's puzzled many for ages. Let's delve into the fascinating world of male communication. The crux of the matter lies in understanding that men typically have a more solution-oriented approach to communication. It's not that they are emotionally inept or indifferent, it's just that their thought processes are often skewed towards problem-solving. They tend to look at issues from a practical, logical point of view, seeking to resolve conflicts rather than delve into the emotional intricacies. This approach might seem strange, especially if you're inclined towards dissecting feelings and emotions. But it's a different method, not a deficiency. Men may not always verbalize their feelings as explicitly as women do, but that doesn't mean they don't experience them. It's just that their expression takes a different form. Men also have a tendency to internalize emotions, a trait often reinforced by societal expectations and norms. This can result in them being less talkative in emotional discussions. They might appear distant or indifferent, but that's often not the case. It's just their way of processing feelings. The key to navigating this communication conundrum is empathy and understanding. Recognize that men communicate differently, and that's okay. It's not a barrier, but a bridge to understanding their world better. So, understanding men's communication style can bridge many gaps. But remember, each man is unique. So, what's the takeaway from all this? We've navigated the testosterone effect, social conditioning, childhood impact, the emotional landscape, and the communication conundrum. Men, like women, are shaped by a multitude of factors, and it's essential to consider these when relating with them. The key is empathy and patience. Learning to understand these aspects can help foster better communication, deeper connections, and more fulfilling relationships. Remember, understanding is the first step towards better relationships. Happy relating. Oh, and don't forget to like this video and please subscribe.